I'm Dawn Clisby, gospel and R&B singer, and you're watching The Artist Avenue, where art lives.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Artist Avenue. I have the ultimate saxophone supreme, Tony Campbell. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, when he plays at Wallace's Whiskey Bar every Saturday, amazing. If you're not a big fan of jazz, maybe come and play. I mean, come and hear him and his backup band and everybody he has surrounding him. And you probably change your mind. He's totally awesome. Tony, thank you so much for sharing your talent and your art with us.
Thank you, Ron. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I'm a big fan, and it's just awesome to be a part of this whole thing that you produce.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Now, Tony, you started off with funk, right?
Yeah, I started playing alto saxophone at the age of 13, and that was a little ordeal. I had to wait, I had to beg for the alto. So when I finally got it, I kind of it was my own. And then I got an audition. I say 2 weeks, but it was probably a month after I started playing with the Deltones. And it was a group from Pittsburgh on Whiteside Road in the Lower Hill District of Pittsburgh, pridefully so. And I auditioned for them, and they had me play a song, and I played do do da do da da ba ba da ba ba da, but I'll take you there. So they said okay. I played the bass line of that. I didn't even play it in the horn lines or anything like that, because I just started playing. I was 13. So they said play something else, and I thought I played something else. They said I played the same thing, ba boo da ba ba da ba ba da beat. So okay, I got the gig with them, and so it was in. I never anticipated music would be this wonderful and beautiful, and I would have this much fun. It was like God brought me to the instrument and to the music. It was a glorious 4 years. We played funk, we played all Earth, Wind & Fire, we played Ohio Players, Bar-Kays. We opened for the Bar-Kays, we opened for New Birth in our time. We played Chicago. We played the group Chicago. We were in like 7 talent shows. We never lost. We had recording contracts and stuff. So it was a wonderful experience for some guy that just picked up a horn at 13, and 3 or 4 years later, all these things had occurred.
So shortly after, because you didn't spend too much time in the funk scene, because you switched over to jazz.
We switched to jazz, yeah, as you know, in the 70s, if you were studying, and we were playing verbatim like Tower of Power, Earth, Wind & Fire, things of that nature, the Earth, Wind & Fire record, Live Evil, and then Head to the Sky was the one, which is really a gospel record, for those of you that don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a gospel record.
Okay.
It's a gospel. If you keep your head to the skies, where have all the flowers gone? Yeah. If you check out the tunes, yeah, Zanzibar. So we started studying them. We didn't play that stuff, but we played all the pop hits, Shining Star, this and that, Boo-dee-boo-da, boo-dee-dee-boo-da, boo-ba-ba, you will find that song. Help me out.
Earth, Wind & Fire?
Yeah. Hook your head to the clouds. Hearts of Fire, Love, Desire, and all that stuff. So we played all that. We played the roller coasters of Ohio Players. But then we started drifting to David Sanborn and like Marcus Miller, and we found some other things. And so about the 3rd or 4th year into the group's existence, we horn players, when Kool and the Gang, Wild and Peaceful, I think Wild and Peaceful really started our jazz side. So when we started playing Wild and Peaceful from that record, we started drifting to David Sanborn and things of that nature. And so that's where the jazz kind of kicked in for me.
So now here you are, you're older, and
Yes.
you turned over and you started playing jazz at such a younger age. what, where you started off such a young age in jazz. How do you believe you've progressed over the years?
Well, I'll tell you, during that time, see, the 70s, around 16, 17, it's 1976, 77, I started switching over, and it happened at home for me, okay, which things happen at home. My father was an avid jazz listener. His favorite players were Thelonious Monk, Ornette Cobb, all right, Eddie Lockjaw Davis, and Cannonball Adderley. So I got into Grover and David Sanborn. And so he heard me playing those things in the living room because the only stereo in the house where we played any music was in the living room, and I dominated the stereo. I just, he had his records there. They could never listen to records. I dominated the stereo, okay, because I was always studying. So I was playing in Sanborn and Grover Washington, Mr. Magic, and he said, here. He gave me, around my senior year of high school, like 1978. The band had disbanded. I was on my own. I was a senior because we disbanded in 77. Everybody they were older. They had to get jobs. They had children and these things of this nature. So he gave me a Cannonball Adderley record, Live at the Lighthouse. Okay? He said, here, check this out. And it flipped my wig. Then I went to the record stores and I found Charlie Parker. Then I was done. Okay? Then it was time for me to go to college. And I wanted to pursue a musical career. And I had already picked out my college in 10th grade. I knew I was going to Berklee College of Music when I was 15 or 16. So that's what I did.
So you were ready. You already knew.
Well, I wasn't ready harmonically and physically and talent-wise. I had ambition. I had potential, but I didn't know my scales. I didn't know things of that nature. So my high school teacher, Mr. Ken Cook, you know how you had those senior talks. It's like, okay, you're a senior now. What are you going to do? I said, well, I want to go, I want to go to music. I want to go to music school. So Mr. James tells me I can get you a scholarship to Southern University. I don't know anything about Southern. I don't know Branford Marcellus is there at the time. I don't know Donald Harrison's there at the time. I don't know Alvin Baptiste is teaching woodwinds. I don't know this. I say, my mother says, no, I'll let him go to Boston. I'm like, okay. In hindsight, it's like 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's like, okay, we're not gonna go into that. But anyway, I go to Boston and I go to Berklee, and that started my jazz extravaganza. That started my jazz experience. That changed my life. Later on, Branford and Donald Harrison came from Southern up to Berklee. And so it changed, like I say, it changed my life.
Mm-hmm. But you got a chance to play with
Branford, Donald Harrison, but there was Tommy Campbell, there was Kevin Eubanks, there were upperclassmen, Victor Bailey, there were upperclassmen that were there already. I had gotten there before Branford and those guys, January of 79. They came September of 79. So this is 1979. I just come out of Shenley, 78. So January 1979. I couldn't go to school in September. I didn't have any money. I had to wait. So I got there, and it was an eye-opening experience. It changed my life. I understood that there was a higher calling. There was more to learn, the harmony, and I could learn as much as my mind could fathom.
Mm-hmm. So did you ever get a chance to play with Kevin Eubanks? Because I used to see him on a Tonight Show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's what kept me. I mean, I like Jay Leno. He was funny.
Yeah.
But Kevin Eubanks was that guitarist.
Well, see. Well, we have to backtrack because I knew Branford, and Branford was the leader of the band at that time. Then he turned it over to Kevin. So we have to backtrack. So when I got to Berklee, I met Branford and those guys, and we played, and they were at my sophomore recital, and they saw the drummer, Jeff Watts. Jeff Watts then was in Wynton's first band with Branford, and then I tell Jeff about Dwayne Dolphin. So we go to the Tonight Show. Wynton Marcellus' first time on the Tonight Show had Dwayne Dolphin, Kenny Kirkland, Jeff Watts, Winton, and Branford. So they had the Pittsburgh connection, which was through Berkeley, which was through my recital. I told him about Dwayne. Dwayne didn't go to Berkeley. Dwayne was on Cherokee Street with me. And so Dwayne got that. So that original Tonight Show thing, yeah, it was an amazing thing. Dwayne was 16 years old or 17 years old at that time. It was from my college experience to this, to blossom and to these things, and then my best friends, and then to help my friends to do these things. It was the beginning of the Young Lions kind of thing. Yeah, at that time, yeah.
So where else do you play, Tony?
Well, I backtrack. I got the gig with Warriors when I was 22. Like, I was doing other things as well, and I played with Warriors, for a few years. Then I finally moved to New York. I wasn't living in New York then. I moved to New York when that was 22. I moved to New York when I was 28, 29. By the time I was 30, I was living there. I was going back and forth. Then I got like I say, the gig with Roy. Then I had a 16-week U.S. tour with Sophisticated Ladies, Duke Ellington, when I was in New York. That was by the time that happened, that was the age of 32 or something, 31. Then I went to cruise ships after that. Did 7 years on cruise ships, and played with all kind of people: Maureen McGovern, Vic Damone, Marvin Hamlish, Diane Carroll, just all the great, Ben Vereen, just great. So did that for 7 years. Was gone all the 90s and came back home. By that time, my parents were very old.
Okay, Tony, I'm going to cut this off here. This is part one.
Okay.
Okay, because I want to get as much out of you as we possibly can, and I want to keep this going for as long as we can.
Certainly.
Because, folks, there's such history here sitting in front of us. A man who's been around for a long time, played with so many people.
Yeah. Because there's the Pittsburgh side with at 22, I played with Roy Ayers and Roger Humphreys. So then Roger Humphreys, that took on a whole nother deeper jazz side. So yeah, I'm anxious for you, Ron, to know my story. So yeah.
And I want to tell your story.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful jazz story. Yeah, definitely. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is part one with Tony Campbell on the Artist Avenue, the jazz sax player supreme. You have to hear him play. Wallace is Whiskey Bar every Saturday from 5 to 8, right?
Yes,
About that?
5 to 8, that's right.
Okay, yeah. Come and see him play. He plays elsewhere around the city. Briefly, Tony, where else do you play around the city?
We play at Con Alma. We'll be there for the new year. I think the 11th and somewhere around the 19th, beginning of the month and the end of the month. And yeah, I will be there. I'm always here every Saturday, but Con Alma will be there a couple days, and a couple other things on the hill. MoCA Arts Initiative, the MoCA Arts Gallery, that's on Soho and Center. Please support. We'll be there beginning of next year.
Okay, Tony, thank you so much. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is part one of Tony's interview with the Artist Avenue. Stay tuned for more of Tony's story growing up in jazz. And we will talk at you soon.
Hi, I'm Ron Black, actor, producer, director, and you're watching The Artist Avenue. And we look forward to sharing your story with the world. Peace. God bless.